Forget the thunder of cannons and the shadows of trench warfare for a moment. Understand this. Some of the most brutal conflicts shaping our world today aren't fought with bullets, but with weaponized billions, tariffs like artillery barrages, quotas tightening like nooses, sanctions deployed like blockades. Welcome to the chilling reality of the 21st century economic battlefield. And the main event, the titanic struggle consuming headlines, the relentless trade conflict between the United States and China. It's a maelstrom, a complex vortex of policy and power that convulses global markets and dictates everything from the device glowing in your hand to the food securing your family's future. But how do we even begin to comprehend such a sprawling conflict? Astonishingly, perhaps the most piercing insights echo from the ghost of a military strategist dead for over 2,500 years, Sun Tzu, the legendary author of The Art of War. Sounds outlandish, applying ancient scrolls to the algorithms of modern trade. Yet, Sun Tzu wasn't merely sketching strategies for chariots and swords. He carved timeless axioms of strategy into history, the essence of deception, the imperative of knowing your foe, the art of achieving victory with minimal bloodshed, principles that resonate with uncanny, almost chilling relevance in this economic clash of titans. So let us don the spectacles of Sun Tzu and dissect this modern war. Principle 1. Know thyself, know thy enemy. 1,000 battles, 1,000 victories. Sun Tzu hammered this home. Deep, unsparing understanding is the absolute bedrock of victory. Before the first shot is fired, before the first tariff is levied, you must know. But did these titans truly heed this warning? Did they grasp the deepest fears, ambitions, and breaking points of their adversary? The U.S. charged into the fray, fixated on trade deficits, the specter of intellectual property theft, and anxieties over technological dominance. China, playing a longer, more patient game, focused on economic self-preservation, the monumental goal of technological sovereignty, made in China 2025, and projecting an image of unshakable resilience against foreign coercion. To misunderstand these core drivers on either side, that Sun Tzu would warn is a fatal flaw, a direct path to strategic ruin and protracted agony. Principle 2. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Here lies the pinnacle of strategic genius, according to Sun Tzu. To break the enemy's will without shedding a drop of economic blood. Victory achieved through pressure, maneuver, the chilling credibility of threats, forcing concession before the battlefield erupts. How does the trade war measure against this ideal? The brutal reality of widespread tariffs, unleashed by both powers, betrays this core principle. This wasn't finesse. It was open economic combat, inflicting deep wounds, soaring prices for ordinary people, supply chains ripped apart, markets evaporating for producers on both sides of the divide. The initial gambit might have hoped threats alone would suffice, but the ensuing economic bombardment signaled a stark departure from the elegance of bloodless victory. Principle 3. All warfare is based on deception. Sun Tzu understood the lifeblood of conflict flows through illusion and misdirection. It is a symphony of shadows, appearing where you are not, striking when least expected, forever keeping your opponent off balance, guessing at your true strength and intent. Observe the theater of negotiation in this trade war, triumphant announcements, dissolving into sudden deadlocks, tariff threats brandished like daggers, public declarations crafted for domestic applause, masking the stark realities of the negotiating table. Each side attempts to project an aura of unyielding strength, potentially cloaking vulnerabilities or downplaying the self-inflicted wounds of the conflict. The battle for perception is the battle. This intertwines with Principle 4. Appear weak when you are strong, and strong when you are weak. This isn't mere dishonesty. It's a dangerous game of masks. A nation might publicly dismiss the economic pain caused by tariffs appearing strong while secretly scrambling to shield vulnerable industries. Conversely, It might amplify the potential damage to certain sectors, appearing weak or victimized to galvanize internal support or ward off further aggression. The U.S. often roared with strength, wielding aggressive tariff announcements and rhetoric, promising transformation. China cultivated an image of unshakable endurance, invoking patriotism and long-term resolve, perhaps masking deeper anxieties about specific sectors or sputtering growth. Both titans engaged in this high-stakes psychological duel, seeking to manipulate the other's calculations and sway global opinion. Principle 5. Attack where he is unprepared. Appear where you are not expected. Sun Tzu preached avoiding the enemy's fortress, and instead striking the soft underbelly. In economic terms, unleash pressure where the opponent is vulnerable, politically sensitive, or simply caught off guard. The execution was often textbook. U.S. tariffs frequently targeted Chinese intermediate goods and burgeoning tech sectors, areas of ambitious growth, yet potentially fragile. China responded with surgical precision. Its retaliatory tariffs aimed squarely at U.S. agricultural heartlands, soybeans, pork. Understanding these were not just economic targets, but political pressure points, hitting a raw nerve in the U.S. domestic landscape. Classic Sun Tzu: attack the weakness, bypass the strength. Principle 6. There is no instance of a nation benefiting from prolonged warfare. Sun Tzu's stark warning echoes through the centuries. No nation emerges truly victorious from the grinding gears of prolonged war. It bleeds coffers dry, exhausts the spirit of the people, fractures societies, disrupts the natural flow of commerce, and invites vultures, other rivals, to exploit the chaos. Swift, decisive action was his prescription, and yet the U.S.-China conflict descended into precisely this quagmire Sun Tzu cautioned against. Years etched in tariff battles and gnawing uncertainty have thrown global commerce into chaos, forcing agonizing, costly relocations. Consumers worldwide feel the pinch. Entire sectors, like American farming, have hemorrhaged value. Both economies, despite public pronouncements, felt the drag. The longer this economic siege endures, the steeper the cumulative cost, raising the specter of irreversible economic scarring and permanent shifts in the global order. This bleeds into Principle 7. Speed is the essence of war. Victory demands velocity, minimizing cost and disruption. But this economic war, a slow, agonizing crawl marked by interminable negotiations, gradual escalations, fleeting truces shattered by renewed hostility. This lack of speed allowed uncertainty to fester like a plague, letting costs spiral ever upward. Principle 8. Knowledge of the enemy's dispositions can only be obtained from other men. Sun Tzu knew. Victory hinges on knowing the unseen. In his time, spies infiltrating enemy camps. Today, economic X-rays, industrial intelligence, cyber espionage, deep analysis, understanding the adversary's technological prowess, their hidden supply chain dependencies, the true currents of their internal politics, the real impact of your actions. This is the lifeblood of effective strategy. Indeed, much of the conflict's fire burns around accusations of intellectual property theft and forced technology transfers, a shadow war fought over secrets and data. Beyond that, both nations pour immense resources into a relentless pursuit of the enemy's hidden weaknesses, analyzing economic tremors, market panics, and political fault lines to plot their next devastating move. Principle 9. He will win who knows when to fight and when not to fight. Here lies the mark of a true strategist: discerning judgment. Not every provocation demands a counterstrike. Not every objective justifies a bloody campaign. Knowing which hills are worth dying on, which demands carry unacceptable risk, and when the wisest course is compromise or even strategic patience. This is paramount. To charge into every fray is not bravery, it's folly. The conflict's erratic pulse, furious tariff escalations giving way to tense negotiations and fragile deals like Phase 1, reveals titans wrestling with this very dilemma. Moments of pulling back from the abyss become necessary to stave off catastrophe, even if ultimate goals remain elusive. This constant high-wire act of deciding when to push and when to pause defines the strategic tightrope. Principle 10. Know the terrain. Know the weather. For Sun Tzu, the physical battlefield. In this economic war, the terrain is a dizzying labyrinth of global finance, interwoven supply chains, spanning continents, complex international trade laws, and volatile financial markets. The weather, ever-shifting political alliances, seismic technological breakthroughs, unpredictable global events like pandemics that can rewrite all calculations overnight. Navigating this treacherous landscape demands extraordinary sophistication. Actions trigger global ripples. A tariff on steel sends shockwaves through auto industries continents away. A tech restriction fractures supply lines worldwide. Political tremors in distant capitals can alter the entire strategic balance. To ignore this intricate map and its tempestuous climate is to sail blind into a hurricane. So viewed through Sun Tzu's ancient, unsparing lens, the US-China trade war reveals itself not as a swift, decisive campaign, but as a grueling, complex, and costly siege. It's a saga fraught with deception, strategic posturing, and targeted strikes on vulnerabilities, yet also a chronicle of ancient wisdom ignored, particularly the dire warnings against prolonged conflict and the failure to achieve aims without resorting to open economic combat. Sun Tzu's ghost whispers a timeless truth. War in any form exacts a brutal toll. Triumph demands profound knowledge, strategic patience, ruthless flexibility, and the critical wisdom of knowing when not to fight. For more relentless dissections of our complex world, ensure you subscribe and activate that notification bell.